Hi and welcome back to another episode. This video is a continuation of the previous episode that I did on the problems that the Gen Zs face in the workplace. And guys, why did I decide to do a video on the Gen Zs? I said in my previous video that we have experienced, especially in Kenya, we have seen the Gen Zs in the past just ended demonstrations of the anti-finance bill 2024 being at the forefront, and this has just shown us that Gen Zs is a force to reckon with. Really, this group of population has come out so strongly and unexpectedly, making even employers begin to wonder, then how are we going to retain or create workplaces where Gen Zs will be able to work comfortably and effectively? So this is the second episode. In my first episode, if you've not watched it, ensure that you do, because it's a continuation of the conversation, is a continuation of the other one. Ensure that you watch, just to help you understand the problems that the Gen Zs face in the workplace. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about how you as an employer can ensure that you create a conducive workplace, because at the end of the day, we have to have the Gen Zs in the workplace. We already know that the Gen Zs are going to form 27% of the global workforce by 2025. So you really, they're going to form 27% of the global workforce by 2025. So we can't really avoid to have them. We can't really avoid to have this conversation. We have to know as employers that now how. They're already here with us. We already have a generation that is not like the Gen X or the millennials that are patient, that are going to put up with a lot of things they don't like in the workplace because they want to retain a job. We already have a generation that is going to resign without a job and they don't care about it. Without a plan B, they don't know how they're going to survive tomorrow, but because they can't put up with a bad boss, they're going to resign boldly. So then this conversation is going to help you just to know what is it that you need to do as an employer to keep the Gen Zs in your workplace. So to start by, in the previous conversation, one of the problems we had seen with the Gen Zs is that they prefer work-life balance. But in the current workplace, with the current demand of the workplace, are we able to achieve work-life balance from an employer perspective? Yes or no, depending on how your workplace is structured. So then how do you navigate this to ensure that you retain the Gen Zs in your workplace? You have to set very clear boundaries between work and personal life. So this is the time that you have to ensure that you're creating work structures, you're coming up with work programs, you're coming up with processes that is going to ensure that there is a work-life balance. A Gen Z is not the type of person that you're going to call them after work. You're going to expect them to carry their laptops and work at home. They're not going to carry work home because they enjoy quality time with family. They enjoy quality life away from work. They want to close their laptops at 5. They want flexibility. So you're going to create a flexible work environment to ensure that your Gen Zs can actually work on flexible work arrangement, flexible work schedules. You're going to get to the level where you're going to break the 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 work, because some of the Gen Zs actually say that they work better if their work starts after 9, if they have a long morning, or rather if they have an adequate morning sleep or morning rest before starting their work. So what you need to do as an employer to ensure that you create boundaries so that Gen Zs have a quality personal, or rather a quality life apart from the work life. They don't want to keep on working. They are not workaholics. They don't want to stay at work up to 9 p.m. So you have to come up with structures that are going to accommodate this type of employees to retain them. The next solution for you as an employer who want to retain the Gen Zs is that you have to liberate technology. We've seen that this generation, these are digital nomads. These are the people who have up to more than one gadget, more than one smartphone or whatever gadget they're using to access the social media. They are the section of your employees who are extremely tech savvy, who don't want to do manual work, who pride, or rather who love and are excited about work that is highly automated. They don't want to get tired doing a lot of manual work, carrying files. They want to store files digitally. They don't want to work with files or carry heavy boxes with files. So if you want to retain the Gen Zs as an employer, then you have to liberate technology. You want to create an environment, or you want to have an office where things are highly automated if you want to leverage, or rather if you want to retain the Gen Zs. And why I said that this is the best group of people from where I sit is because of the technological perspective that they bring in the workplace. And we all know that technology makes work easy. So if you want to reap more from your business, and if you want to have this generation of this section of your employees really drive results around innovation, creativity, then you have to liberate technology as an employer. The next thing you have to do is to prioritize health and wellness programs. We saw in the previous conversation that one of the problems that the Gen Zs face is on mental health, and a research that we had seen by McKinsey showed that up to 55% of Gen Zs say that in their work life they've suffered from mental health problems, or they've been treated from mental health problems. So as an employer, you are having a section of your employees that have a lot of mental triggers from anxiety, from stress, due to the high exposure of information on social media, a lot of competition, a lot of comparison, self-comparison. So they're falling into depression, they're having anxiety at the workplace. So you want to ensure that to keep this type of population, or to ensure that your Gen Zs are actually thriving, you need to come up with wellness programs that will help them. This will include things like having maybe yoga classes at work once in a while. Ensure that you even have things like gym for them, so they can have a place just to release all that work stress, to come out of the constrained workspaces and just get into the gym and just do their yogas and come out re-energized. So you need to think of what are the mental programs, what are the wellness programs, that you're going to have in your workplace to ensure that your Gen Zs actually are in a safe place to work in. The next thing you need to do is that you're going to have to implement result-oriented work programs. And let me just explain this in terms of how Gen Zs do their work. Gen Zs are not the type of people who are looking at the number of hours that they have been in the office. We've seen that they're the type of people that want to work from anywhere as long as they deliver results. So you want to have programs that do not focus on how many hours have they worked, but on what is the output, what have they done. So you want to implement programs that are more result oriented. You want to focus on the output. You don't want to know where are they doing the work from, how are they doing the work. You want to see have they brought in the results. So the Gen Zs are not the type of people that want to be micromanaged. You don't want to keep on checking on their desk after every 2 hours to see what they're doing. Please, they're the section of your employees who want you to give them work and trust them to be able to deliver that work. So you need to begin implementing programs that focus more on results. And we don't want to also forget that you need to appreciate and recognize them for the good results and the output. The next thing that you need to do as an employer, if you want to retain your Gen Z employees, is to create for them work that has purpose and meaning. We've seen that the Gen Zs is the section of your employees who want to know that everything they do, that the work they do actually contribute to the general objectives and the mission of the organization. This is the population that keeps you on toes as a company when it comes to the achievement or living in line with your mission and the vision for the organization. They want to see you involved in the programs that help the general community and society. They want to see you support the global agendas that actually contribute to the key global agendas like eradication of poverty, promoting education. They want to see you as a company doing CSR activities. So they want to have meaning in their work. I said the Gen Zs are not just there to work, get the money and go home. They want to feel that they're creating an impact on what they do is actually creating an impact in the society. So they're going to put you on toes. They're going to ensure, or rather make you ensure that you're living to what you promise your customers as a business. You're living to your mission. You're living up to your mission and the vision of your organization. The next thing that they want is fun-filled workplaces. I know that is relative. You're wondering, so at what point do I say that there's fun in the workplace? At what point do I define my workplace as fun-filled? But imagine the Gen Zs want to see a difference in the workplace in terms of just making it lively, making it a vibe. They are concerned about the outlook of your office. They don't want to come to an office that is dull. So you want to change even in terms of how do you do branding of your office. They want to have a comfortable sitting arrangement in the office. The Gen Zs don't want to come into the office and find somebody else occupying their seat. They want to have a permanent sitting place where they come to. So you really want to, from where you sit as an employer, you really want to think of how then even do you design the office to make it look appealing, even visually appealing in terms of the colors, in terms of what are the writings like, the graphics like. They want to come to an office that has a coffee station. They want to have office lunches. So the Gen Zs actually, as much as they prefer to work from home, to have remote working, a section of Gen Zs admit that they can actually come and work in an office for 8 to 5 if they are having lunches in the office, they are having coffees in the office is a comfortable place, the physical environment is a comfortable for them to see, just to be in there, because they also value the interaction and the collaboration with their with their colleagues. So they really want to be in a space that is comfortable. And even if you see, of course I'm not going to mention the companies, if you see those companies that are really preferred by the Gen Zs, you'll see the type of work, the type of life that is there, the type of vibrancy, the type of vibe in terms of even decorations and the arrangement of the offices is really, really appealing. And that is what the Gen Zs are looking for. The next thing you want to do is to have learning opportunities so that the Gen Zs are sure of their career growth. That is one of the problems we saw with the Gen Zs, that where we saw that they expect a percentage of them expect to grow into the next roles just in a period of 18 months of being employed in your organization. So they're really ambitious. They want to become the CEOs. They want to become the managers, the departmental heads, just in a very short span of time, which we all know is not possible. But the good news is that the Gen Zs want to be in jobs that they can see a very clear career progression. They can see their tomorrow in this job. If you're putting them in a job that they're not going to see where they're going to be in the next 2 or 3 years, then I promise you they'll not stay. So you need to come up with learning opportunities. They're looking for learning opportunities. The Gen Zs are constantly out to learn. They're a generation that want to be better every day. And I said that's why you find them on YouTube watching tutorials. You find them on Udemy. You're finding them on Coursera. You're finding them in Skillshare, watching and doing master classes. They're listening to podcasts because they want to learn. This is a very competitive generation. So you want to ensure that you have learning and personal growth programs that ensure that your Gen Zs are constantly learning to become better in the workplace. The next thing you want to do is to have very clear feedback mechanism and constant recognition. We are all agree that they're not the generation that are waiting to get feedback at the end of the quarter or during appraisals. They're also the generation that they want instant recognition if they do a job well. If they're excellent in what they're doing, they want to be told instantly. They like public recognition where you're just mentioning good things about them even in front of their colleagues. So you need to come up with recognition programs in your workplace as an employer so that you constantly appreciate your Gen Zs that are meeting the targets or that are performing according to the set standards. There's so many recognition programs that you can have as an employer. There are incentives that you can have. You can give them paid holidays. You can give them promotions. You can give them salary increments. You can give them training opportunity, exclusive perks to be members of for club membership. You know, the Gen Zs want that type of life, that type of experience in the workplace. So you really need to begin thinking of what are some of the recognition programs that as an employer can afford, because also the aspect of affordability is quite important. You can give them certificates of recognition that sometimes may not really require you to spend too much money just to appreciate your Gen Zs. The next thing you want to do is have a workplace that embraces DEI, that is diversity, equity, and inclusion. We had seen that up to 83% of Gen Zs are willing to leave their current job if they feel it is not aligned to their value in terms of diversity and inclusion. They value, they want to be included, they want to be engaged, they want to be involved in the decisions that affect their being in the organization. So they want to be part of the decisions, the processes that affect their life in the organization. They want to be treated equally. This is the generation that they need, that believes strongly in the aspect of equal work for equal pay. They want to be included. They don't want to have an imbalance between maybe men and women. So they want to be included. They want to be treated equally as other employees. So if you're having Gen Zs as an employer and if you want to retain them, you have to create a workplace that is going to embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion. The next thing you have to do is to implement remote work policies. I know I've touched on it, and I want to stress on it as an independent point, because with the gig economy, which the Gen Zs are the biggest consumers currently, the Gen Zs are highly preferring even freelance working or working as independent contractors as compared to being in a permanent job. So if you need these skills, if you need these guys who are tech savvy, who are coming to the workplace with fresh perspectives, then what you have to do to retain them is to ensure that you include work from home or remote work policies. The Gen Zs are because the Gen Zs have grown in the era of the post-pandemic. There are things they learned, and most of them actually say that post-pandemic they realized that they were more productive when they were working from home. So they even want to continue with these habits post the pandemic. They want to work from home. They want to be able to work from anywhere. They want to go in a restaurant somewhere and work, and as they take their coffee, as they listen to their music. And we had already said that we want our employers to come up with work structures that will focus more on output, will focus more on the result-oriented, rather than just checking how is work done, where is it being done from, coming out proactively, coming out from micromanagement to having the Gen Zs just work independently and trust them to deliver. So if you want to retain these people as an employer, you have no option but to begin thinking of how can you embrace remote work and allow your Gen Zs to work from anywhere. Shift from workplaces to workspaces, as long as the work is delivered and it is delivered on time and diligently. So if you've been thinking of how you want to retain your Gen Zs as an employer, as a manager, now you have it. This is what the Gen Zs are looking for. And as I always say, this is not the generation that we want to leave out of our workplaces. And we already know that they're the ones who are coming into the workplace with fresh perspectives, the right aggressiveness, the right agility that we need for the success of the business. They're coming with innovative and creative skills, and they're tech savvy, which we need in this world that is highly technology oriented. So if you want to retain your Gen Zs, then you need to think of this point that we've discussed in these videos. So ensure that you also watch the previous video so you're just able to connect this conversation. Thank you for watching this video till the end. If you've not subscribed to this channel, this is a good time for you to just click that subscribe button and be part of this community where we're all about learning, making ourselves better to build rewarding and fulfilling careers. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.